It's the opinion of ourself that has ultimate value in our life. And what we don't realize is that 80% of our thoughts are actually negative. We're actually constantly putting us down. And it's not that we're purposefully auto-sabotaging ourselves. It's literally because we have a 2 million-year-old brain that's trying to keep us safe. The equivalent of you stepping out in public speaking, doing a live, or writing that book, or calling that person, is literally the equivalent of you battling with a saber-toothed tiger. This is the reason that we auto-sabotage ourselves and we talk down to ourselves. It's not the way that other people are talking to us that's affecting our life and that's stopping us from achieving our goals. It's the way that we're talking to ourselves. There's a lady called Bronnie Ware. She wrote a book called The 5 Top Regrets of the Dying. She worked for 10 years with people who were on their last months of life. And she wanted to figure out what was their top regret. The top number one regret was, I wish I had lived a life true to myself and not based my life on others' expectations of me. That is huge. Really, when I learned and I read that, it really hit me, because I realized that most of us are actually living a life based on other people's expectations of ourselves. If you think about this, we're always molding ourselves to fit the person that we're with, rather than speaking our truth and daring to be ourselves. I think this really hits home for a lot of people. I know it certainly hit home for me. And it's something that I was an expert at for many years of my life. I would mold myself to fit the person who I was with. And this is down to a fundamental fact that we are, as human beings, we are social beings and we're tribal. We have this basic need to be accepted and loved by a tribe. Before we can even accept another person, we need to know ourselves and love ourselves first. What thoughts are you paying attention to that are sabotaging your day? Where is it that you are falling short of creating the life that you really desire? Because you can't create a positive life from a negative mindset. If you're consistently putting yourself down and saying that you can't do it, you're not capable, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm not smart enough, I'm not intelligent, I'm not popular, right? If we're consistently saying these things to ourselves, what kind of a life are we going to be producing? So we really have to start to turn our negative self-talk around. We think between about 6,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day. I mean, that's huge, right? But we're not aware of most of those. So sometimes we're not being aware of the actual thoughts, the actual thinking. But what you will catch is the feeling that sets off. Because remember that each one of those thoughts that comes into our periphery, right, has an emotion encoded within it. So that means that you'll catch the emotion. So what is your default setting of emotion? How are you feeling every single day when you get up, let's say on a Monday morning? What does that look like for you? Are you feeling bored? Are you feeling worried, anxious, anxiety? What does your Monday morning look to you when you get up? How are you consistently feeling? This will give you an idea of things that need to be tweaked, things that need to be changed. And remember that those feelings is coming directly from your thinking, because everything is encoded with an emotion. It's chemical. Emotions are just chemical. So we can change all of that. So I would like to say that wherever you are right now, right, whatever situation you're in, whatever you're telling yourself that you can't do, whatever problems you're facing, you have everything it takes to be able to overcome that and get out of that. I'm telling you, because I did the same myself, right? I had to face my greatest fears, and I had to get myself up at 45 and rebuild my life again. And yes, it was terrifying, but I would like to say that most of it was just an illusion, because most of the fear were simply thoughts. If you look at the events that are happening, they're not terrifying at all. It's the thinking that creates the fear. Nobody taught us how to focus, how to concentrate. Nobody taught us how to overcome our problems, how to overcome our thinking, how to create new thinking, how to overcome fears. Nobody taught us these essential lessons. And it's about time that this was changed and this was turned around, because we need to be teaching our children this. We need to be teaching our children how to focus, how to concentrate. We need to understand that most of our thinking, our unconscious thinking, is actually negative. And we all have this universal problem. So we need to understand this fundamental connection that we have between the mind and body, because it is life-changing when you can see that you are not a victim to your circumstances. You are never a victim to your circumstances. You are the driving seat of your life. And you're hitting the gas, but the problem is that you're looking through the rear view mirror. What's going to happen if you're on the motorway, you're driving 100 miles per hour down the motorway, foot's on the gas, and your whole concentration and focus is in the rear view mirror? What's going to happen? Inevitably, you're going to crash. You're going backwards. And for most of us, I know for me, this is what I was doing for years and years and years, right into my 40s, right? What we need to understand is that the mind cannot create something new. It can only give you more of the known. It's like a program. You've got to understand that our mind is like a very powerful, highly sophisticated operating system that is governing our lives. The servant became the master. We've got to regain control. And how do we do that? By paying attention to ourselves, our self-talk, our limited self-talk, right? We've got to understand that most of our self-talk are just stories that we created when we were that high. They are basically self-defense mechanisms that we created in a logical way to make sense of what was happening while we were growing up, because we couldn't understand why human beings would treat each other like that. These stories that we created when we were young were then set in stone. But they're not really set in stone. We set them in stone. And what did we do? One after the other, we formed walls around us. These are the walls that need to come down. These are the walls that we have got to now not just take them down one by one, blast them out of the park, because they're just an illusion. You know, people say to me, but how can I change this? How can I lose this weight? How can I become more confident? How can I build up that courage? And the thing is that we have been conditioned into thinking that about time in a linear fashion, right? So it's like, if I want to lose weight, it's going to take a year. So we give up before we started. If I want to change my diet, I try it, but then I'm craving for chocolate and all the wrong food or whatever. The thing is, what we don't realize is that we don't have to give up those things. We just need to form a vision of where we're going, a very clear vision of what we want, exactly where we're going, and why we want it. When we have this vision, we're no longer looking in the rearview mirror, and we're not, crashing and having to go back. We're actually teaching and training our mind to think forward, think straight, right? Because our problem, like I said before, the mind cannot create something new. It recreates and regenerates more of the same. That's our fundamental problem. What I would like to say today is really guard your self-talk. Guard your self-talk and begin to speak power into your life. Start telling yourself, I'm amazing, I'm fantastic, I'm confident, I'm strong, I'm capable. All of you. Use the two smallest, most powerful words in the dictionary, I am and God. What adjectives you are using after those two tiny little but significant words. Okay, so I would like to say thank you for those who joined me today. Thank you for your support. Much love to all of you. And for those of you who don't know me, I am Allegra. I'm an international best-selling author, event speaker, and transformation coach. If any of you need help or know someone who needs help, contact me on any social platform. If you want, check out my website, thehigheryou.net. If you enjoyed this video, please press like and please share. And from now on, I will be doing more lives. Thank you for joining me. Lots of love.